going on screen. How's that? Is that better? Besides my hair being a wreck. So, what I'm going to do is today I'm going to start in Proverbs. Um, what I do is read Proverbs every morning anyway, a psalm and a proverb. If you read a if you start at Psalm 1 and then go Psalm 1, add 30 to it every day, and then read the Proverbs. And then on months that have 31 days, you can read Psalm 119 that day and then Psalm 31. Or it's just Psalm 119, I believe. Yeah. Psalm 119 and Psalm 31. So that gets you your whole month of Psalms and Proverbs. It doesn't have to be in a religious sense. There's good philosophical and daily living wisdom there. Linda, I love Proverbs, and Song of Solomon is a great love letter. Something good if you have a partner to read together. It it even can be a little sensual at times. So, Song of Solomon's good. So, hey, okay, Joey. You know, mine is more of a listening thing anyway, more podcasty. On the Tao Te Ching, there's more because I have the analysis that I put down. So what I'm reading the Tanakh out of is the Hebrew Bible is Robert Allen is he went back through the original Hebrew and he did a comparative study to the Septuagint, and it's praised by both biblical scholars and Hebrew scholars as a very good translation, and comparing it to Bibles that are translated from the Septuagint. It's considered very good, and it gives you an idea of the corruption of the scriptures. So, what I'm going to do is I'll start out with the KJV, and then I will read. He got as close to chapters, verses as he could. The Hebrew and the doesn't use verses, so it doesn't. It's not the. It's not a 1-to-1. So, but he does his best to do that, and then we'll read a breakdown verse by verse in the Tanakh, not in the KJV. Hey, Wyatt, how you doing, bud? Hope you're having a good Tuesday. I know I am. It was a little cold in the house this morning. But sleeping when it's cold is my favorite thing to do. Joey, with not using verses, it seems the context on some things could be different than current interpretations. Uh, you're absolutely right, and the when you're going from Greek to Hebrew, and then for the Christian Bible, some things get lost in translation, as we'll see, and sometimes it's little words, and then sometimes it's very big things that that makes the translations uh, completely different. So, sorry, just got a text about Shaky Knees 2025. And it's 10 months away. Okay. So, today be the 26th. So, we will go there. Proverbs 26 has 28 verses. So, I'll get through them in the KJV as quick as I can because it'll take a little time to get through in the Tanakh. So, and this, as far as the Tanakh goes, you have the Torah or the law. Then this is the writings. So this is going to be Proverbs and Job, stuff like that. And then you had the prophets, which is the biggest volume of the Tanakh. So there's also books in the Tanakh that aren't in the Christian Bible. But anyway, here we go. Proverbs 26. As snow in summer and as rain in harvest, so honor is not seemly for a fool. As the bird wandering, as the swallow by flying, so the curse causeless shall not come. A whip for the horse, a bridle for the ass, and a rod for the fool's back. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest thou also be like unto him. Answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own conceit. He that sendeth the message by the hand of a fool cutteth off the feet and drinketh damage. Damage or violence. You, we see that, and I struggle with not answering fools in their folly, right? Y'all know I like to argue when I feel people are being foolish. It's hard not to. I feel it's like it's a calling, and so anyway. Ooh, Tennessee is Vandy Saturday. The bitter rivalries are always good to watch. The legs of the lame are not equal. So is a parable in the mouth of fools. Priestess, how are you? As he that bindeth stone in a sling, so is he that giveth honor to a fool. As a thorn goeth up into the hand of a drunkard, so is a parable in the mouth of fools. The great God that formed all things both rewardeth the fool and rewardeth transgressors. As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. Seest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There is more hope of a fool than of him. The slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way, a lion is in the streets. So the lazy man is like, my excuse, oh darn, there's a lion. He's in the streets. I can't do what I need to do. As the door turneth upon his hinges, so doth slothful upon his bed. I don't know if any of us know anybody like that, right? The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. He that passeth by and meddleth with strife belongeth not to him. Is like one that taketh the dog by the ears. As a bad man who casteth firebrands, arrows, and death, so is the man that deceiveth his neighbor, and saith, am I not sport? Where no wood is, there is the fire. There the fire goeth out. So there is no talebearer, and the strife ceaseth. As coals are to burning coals, the wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. Thanks, Wrangler. I appreciate it. The words of the talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. Burning lips and a wicked heart are like a potsherd covered with silver dross. He that hateth dissembleth with his lips, and layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe it him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart, whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. Whoso diggeth the pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth the stone, it will return upon him. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and flattering mouth worketh ruin. So, I've always heard that that we get daily wisdom from the Bible, from my dad, who's they converted to Christianity, and he's been a Baptist minister for 30 years. Far right, independent, fire and brimstone pastor at that. But he does say that we get we get that daily wisdom and things that are going on in our lives, right? And I think that we see that in Todd as far as what we've just read. Backbiting, dissembly, being slothful, if you will. But absolutely, Joey, absolutely. Hey, Misty. It's not hard to offend Todd Wyatt. I mean, he gave Brick hell because Brick actually defended me. It's funny. Brick wouldn't even acknowledge me last night when he was on Restless, and I was in the chat singing his praises again, and I'll continue to do so. I think that Brick is not a bad guy. He's just misguided. Wyatt, I've been blocked for so long on Todd's. He did. Well, I take that back. He did unblock me the other day. I don't know if I'm still unblocked. I heard he was calling me out about the October 7th attacks, saying that my people knew about it, but and maybe not. Um, you got pre emotive my block on Ruff's channel. He never had a chance to earn it. Preemptive. Okay. Is this a subversive meeting? Lola, whenever we get together, it's a subversive meeting. I think. All right, let's get into what the Tanakh says in chapter Senate 26. Um, again, we're going to break it down verse by verse. So, like snow in summer, like rain in harvest, so honor is unfit for a fool. So, verse 1, like snow in the summer, this part of the whole series here of riddle form, one line proverbs. These are cast either as paradoxical or puzzling image in the first verse. In this instance, what could possibly be anomalous as snow in a warm season, or as an image of self evident that the listener wonders why it should be mentioned. So there's examples in verses 3, 7, 14, and 20. Yeah, I did. I noticed Brick was back in his chat, and on subpar, he's got his wrench back. So it's whatever, Brick can do Brick, and I told him I would talk to him as long as he was in good faith anywhere he is. But I don't think he's going to talk now uh, because Daddy Todd gets mad at him when he speaks to me, which is sad. I think Brick wants to learn. All right, verse 2. As a bird for wandering, as a swallow for flight, so a groundless curse won't come to pass. So a bird, a swallow, just as these winged creatures by their nature fly away, a groundless curse will not come down on its intended object, but will dissipate or fly away. Linda, I agree. But hopefully he can come around. I mean, he's a relatively young guy. And younger still in his seeking of knowledge. So, verse 3, a whip for a horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the back of fools. Verses 4 and 5, it doesn't give a breakdown for every single verse. This one will break down 4 and 5. Do not answer adult by his folly. I love calling people adult. It is such a good insult. By his folly, lest he seem wise in his own eyes. For yes, absolutely a great word, Lola. Do not answer adult. / answer the dolt. in, ingenious exegetical exegetical. Okay, double D's. Hopefully you'll listen afterwards. But give me a like, uh, comment, and I know you're subscribed, and I appreciate it. Trying to grow this channel, and but good luck on the scheduling. Hopefully y'all can just get it done. Let's see. Effort has been exercised to set these two contradictory proverbs in a dialectic or complementary relationship with each other. It is more plausible to assume that they were bracketed together editorially because of the similarity of formulation, while they reflect two quite different and originally independent perspectives. The first proverb counsels us to avoid contention with a fool because we are liable to get entangled in his own misguided or confused terms by or according to his folly. The second proverb urges us to answer the fool so that he is compelled to recognize what a fool he is. In this English version, Kessel, generally rendered as fool, has been translated as dolt because the word for folly here is awilet, is an entirely different term. So dolt being a fool, I'm glad he translated it as fool dolt. It makes me laugh. 6. He cuts off his own legs, drinking outrage. He who sends his words by a fool. Exactly, Wyatt. Exactly. Hey, VOP. Uh, hey, lay down, relax. Don't worry about chatting here. If you're listening, I am happy. Okay, though, Les. So he cuts off his own legs, drinking outrage. In this proverb, the riddle image is especially violent. Like a man who terribly mutilates himself is he who entrusts a message to a fool. Thighs hang slack on the lame, and a proverb in the mouth of fools. That's verse 7. There's no analysis of verse 7. I'll say amen to that, priestess, and I thank you for considering it niche. I hope so. I hope it is with all of these that I'm trying to build. Um, so anyway, um, I'm enjoying it, and I'm glad you guys are here helping me build something different. I was proud of my short I did with me on the crane inspecting the boom after an incident. So it had shock loaded, so it dropped the load, so all of the cable went back, and the structure got shocked as it was rocking back and forth, taking the like a whiplash on a fishing pole. And so I had to ride out to check the bolts, check the cable to see where it was. So nobody knew what the condition of it was. And since I'm the inspector, I had to check it and take that risk of riding out there. Hey, Cap, how are you? But man, I love being an inspector. But anyway, that short um, got 500 views in like 2 days, and I was just like, what? So anyway, something I got excited about anyway. Verse 8, like one binding a stone in a sling, so he who gives a fool honor. Binding. With the Septuagint, the translation means sorer or binding or one who binds instead of the Masoretic seror or a bundle. The relation of image to referent is not entirely clear. Fox's explanation is that giving a fool honor or arms him to do harm to others, like the loading of a slingshot with a stone. So, like one who is loading a slingshot is the same. You're giving a fool honor. You're giving him the weapons to do harm to others. Verse 9. A thorn comes up in the hand of a drunk, and a proverb in the mouth of fools. So a thorn comes up in the hand of a drunkard. Presumably, he is staggering about in his drunken stupor, and thus thrusts his hand unaware against thorns. He took offense to you doing an impression of him. Oh, such a weak child. Such a weak child. So continuing on with verse 9 analysis, a proverb in the mouth of fools. This means that either they will pronounce a warped proverb that may hurt others, or lacking wisdom to pronounce wise sayings in their effort to do so, they will shame or do harm to themselves. The latter option may be more likely. Verse 10, a master brings up all things about, but who hires a fool hires vagabonds. A master brings all things about, but who hires a fool hires vagabonds. The Hebrew of the received text is obscure, but the sundry attempts to amend it involve major surgical operations on the text, with no more than scant support in the ancient versions. This translation follows the general outline of the construction proposed in the New Jewish Publication Society translation. So it's just translational issues and digging more into what the actual text is. It's a good sign of to me, it's a good sign that of a scientific approach, right? Leaving it falsifiable, not saying this is a hard fact. We have what we have now, and we're going with the translation until we can prove otherwise, right? Until a better translation comes along. Uh, Never taking away from the original, but being open to it, to translational changes as new information comes about. So, anyway, verse 11. Like a dog going back to his vomit, adult repeats his folly. So, this is another case of a violent and arresting riddle image in the first half of the line. Verse 12. Have you seen a man wise in his own eyes? There's more hope for a fool than for him. So somebody who's wise in their own eyes, there's zero hope for him. He's lost because there's no changing someone who's a fool, who's wise in their own eyes. Verse 13, the sluggard says, a young lion is on the road. A lion is out in the squares. So this is right. Priestess Coded is a great example. Coded and Todd are the same person, I think. I think that's why they cannot get along at all. So just a little textual difference, right? The KJV said in the streets. This says in the squares. So I mean, not much difference, but you can see where that can build. And I give it like in, is it Jeremiah, where it talks about where Christians say that it says that the Messiah will be born of a virgin, and the word is actually Alma, the young lady, the young woman, instead of virgin. Why didn't anybody tell me my hair was over my glasses? Let's see. So the sluggard says, this proverb is a virtual doublet of 22:13, which on the 22nd we'll get to next month, right? See the comment there. The Hebrew uses two synonyms for lion, and the translation resorts to a familiar fallback by rendering the first term shahal as young lion. So let us go to 22:13. Just real quick to see what that note is. Let's see. The sluggard says, a lion's outside in the square. I shall be murdered. So 13, I shall be murdered. The inappropriate verb instead of eaten up or killed is probably deliberate. The lazy man giving free rein to his fantasy in order to find excuses for not leaving his house imagines that the lion prowling the streets will viciously murder him as though it were a malicious assassin. So again, we're getting wisdom about people we deal with on these mean YouTube streets, right? We know people who won't go out of their house out of fear of something happening, right? To coin a new turn of phrase that we never hear is interesting. A door turns on its hinge and a sluggard on his bed. The hinge, this is a particularly witty deployment of a seemingly obvious image for the riddling part of the line. A door, of course, turns on its hinge, but then we are invited to link that to the sluggard turning from one side to the other in bed and going nowhere, like the door. We may also imagine the door opening and shutting, with people going in and out while the sluggard remains in bed. 15. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish, but cannot bring it back up to his mouth. So, another textual difference. Instead of his hand in his bosom, this goes literally to I go to the dish, but I'm too lazy to bring it up to my mouth. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish. This proverb duplicates 1924. So I'm going to go to 1924. The sluggard hides his hand in the dish. He won't even bring it up to his mouth. So a little different. In this proverb, one sees a satiric and hyperbolic relation between the verset, and the second. The reader initially wonders why the sluggard hides his hand or literally buries it in the dish and then discovers that he's too lazy to lift it up to his mouth. The hyperbole in this way conveys the reiterated point that a lazy person fails to provide for his own basic needs. I have to say, I am just amazed more and more every day how the wisdom from the books that we're studying so perfectly relates to what we are seeing in our lives in the little sector of the internet that we hang out in. It's a I guess it's easy to see something that you're reading after the fact or while you're involved with something as almost a prophetic writing, right? But I it is very educational in how wisdom is brought forward to us. Let's see. Let's hit 16. There's no analysis of 16 either. I think 16 is probably self explanatory. So, as the KJV had 26 verses, the Tanakh has 28. So, 16. The sluggard is wiser in his own eyes than 7 who answers with good sense. So the sluggard thinks he's smarter than 7 that are verified wise. The wisdom of 7 cannot match his intellect in his own mind. Verse 17. Like one who seizes the ears of a passing dog is he who mixes in with a quarrel that is not his. The smart the simile has a special edge because we're not domesticated dogs. We're not domesticated. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Mike. It's it's amazing how this wisdom is coming forth ba- based on who we deal with. I mean, it sounds exactly like him. It's so eerily similar. So this simile has a special edge because dogs were not domesticated in ancient Israel, but rather wandered outside as semi-feral scavengers. The vivid implication is that a person who mixes into someone else's quarrel is liable to get badly bitten. Mixes in, the translation reads mit-arev for the Mesoteric. Mit a bear becomes angry. Jinky, how are you? It is an early stream, and I did not plan it too far out. I am going to, however, do the biblical Tanakh comparative study all early, just to get it, because that's when I do it. So hopefully you can join us a little late, and if not, I hope you can watch it later. And glad to see somebody here with it 10 p.m. local for you. Happy to have our friends from across the world. Let's see, where was it? Okay, 18. We're on 18. Like a lunatic, shooting his deadly firebrands is a man who deceives his neighbor. So, lunatic, there's some question about the precise meaning of the Hebrew term. Deadly firebrands, the literal sense of the Hebrew is sparks, arrows, and death. Kiddo, how are you? Okay, listen away, and we're happy to have you. Well, you know we love the moist, stormy weather. And I would love to be in the Netherlands, right? It's not nether, it's nether. Correct, Jicky. My middle daughter went to Amsterdam for her study abroad time. So very jealous. You got to do that. I only spent that time there passing through while I was doing some other things. Because, I did things. All right, we're going to read Friesland. Joey. Holy shit. Oh, Joey. The Netherlands are places Todd hasn't touched brandy in years. Oh, boy. All right, I'm going to read 19 through 22. 22 is the only one with analysis. Let's see. After firebrands is a neighbor who deceives. Okay, and says, What? I was joking. What are you talking about? I'm just joking. I mean, come on. When there is no wood, a fire goes out, and without a grumbler, strife falls silent. Coal for embers and wood for fire, and a belligerent man stir up quarrel. 22. A grumbler's words are like pounding, and they go down to the belly's chambers. So it's another doublet. Let's go to 18:8 and see what the analysis was there. The words of a... Did I say that? Oh, I'm sorry. It's a grumbler, not a Did I say grumbler or gambler? In my mind, I think I said gambler. Let's see. 8. It said there was analysis there, but it's not. So it's just a doublet. Okay, verse 23. Silver with dross glazed on pottery are ardent lips and an evil heart. Ardent lips, an emendation of the first consonant of the Hebrew word rendered as ardent or burning, yields smooth lips, which is the reading of the Septuagint. Though he makes his speech fair, do not. Yes, Jicky, as in someone who complains. So a grumbler's words are like pounding, and they go down into the belly's chamber. So just freaking hearing the constant complaining is pounding on your head and hurts your stomach. Let's see. Though his speech be fair, and by speech, I never can remember my Hebrew. I'm sorry, but it literally means voice. So instead of though he makes his voice fair, do not trust him. For 7 loathsome things are in his heart. Who covers hatred in deception. His evil will be exposed to all. To all, literally in the assembly, that is, in public. Who digs a pit will fall in, and who rolls a stone, it will come back on him. So a lying tongue hates those it crushes. The tongue is a synodosh for the liar, but it accords with a potent agency assigned to speech in Proverbs that the tongue should be the subject of both verbs here. What the proverb seems to have in mind is a common psychological mechanism in which the victimizer comes to hate or despise the very person to whom he does wrong, perhaps feeling contempt because the victim has so pathetically exposed himself to harm. For a vivid sexual instance in the Bible, see the story of Ammon and Tamar in 2 Samuel 13. Who digs a hole knows where it is dug. Technically, they shouldn't fall in, but I understand the meaning. Just being a turd. It's okay. You can throw in some snarky and turdiness comedy for us here. A smooth mouth. The reference is obvious to smooth speech, but the agency of the body part, as with the tongue in the first verset, is important for the poetic effect. So, and then verse 28, a lying tongue hates those it crushes, and a smooth mouth pushes one down. And that analysis covered both of those. So tomorrow will be verse 27 in both the KJV and the Tanakh. I enjoyed doing this out loud. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. And we will see you guys at 2 on when we do the Tao Te Ching. If you don't see that, we have 4 for On Truth by Orwell. So, hey, no worries, Jicky. I'm happy to share it. And I think it's good analysis of the whole of the Hebrew Bible. So, sorry for hitting the microphone there. So I'm gonna end it there, and I will see you guys in a bit. Thank y'all. On your way out, hit the like, share this, and get the word out. Okay, Chicky. Yeah, it with a fried brain, it makes it that much harder to let it all soak in. All right, Joey. Have fun at work. See you guys.